so that you're not wasting energy trying to do acts of service for your husband or your children when really all they need is a hug. They just need a 5-second hug and just a moment to be with you. And then they're good. They don't want any more of your attention and they leave you alone and you can go and do so much more stuff. So I think that just really helped us because we can focus on what we know the other person or the other family member needs, especially with the girls. And we're giving each other what we need to feel loved and wanted and needed. And we're not wasting a lot of energy on the things that we don't need to do. Like for the longest time, Darryl was doing stuff for me and I'm like, I don't need this. I'm like, just go change the oil in my truck. And I would be so happy with you. So I think for people that are working together, that book was really helpful, just trying to narrow down, what to focus on in your relationship. And it really helps save some energy because at the end of the day, if you're trying to make business decisions when you're hungry or tired, or what was the other one? You're not supposed to be hungry, tired, or there's another one. There's 3 things that you're not ever supposed to be when you're trying to make big decisions in life. And, I
drunk. Maybe it's drunk.
Well,
no.
I think
it's when you're like upset. If you're upset, you can make an emotional decision.
Right.
That's right.
Drunk, I'm sure drunk is somewhere in there too.
My creativity gets really good when I'm tipsy. I don't know.
Yes.
I can imagine the hairdos you do it with being drunk.
Yeah.
We won't try that.
No, that's great. But it's wonderful to see how you're being intentional and keeping that awareness of each other's needs to ensure that the quality of life that's happening within the family, especially that you have the girls, watching you. And so I'm interested to hear how do the girls see you, right, as a couple? How do you see them actually like in being encouraged by it, asking questions? Like how do you feel? What is your why when it comes to the girls based on what it is that you're doing?
Well, there's a lot of estrogen in my household, so you have to be very, very careful in what you do. And for me, I think it really struck me earlier on, especially when I was going through my divorce, is that how impressionable these kids are. Whether it be girls or boys, I don't think it really matters, but more so with the girls, obviously. But I'm kind of biased. I've only ever experienced with girls, but they can really see through your bullshit, if you will. It doesn't really matter what face you have on or what you're trying to portray.
Yeah.
They can sense that you're upset. They can sense that you're stressed. They can go through that, and they actually process that with you. And when we're going through our marriage, we really tend to leave everything on the table, and we don't really hide a lot of stuff. And I think it allows the girls to be able to see that it's okay to be upset and it's okay to talk about stuff, and that it's okay to still hug your spouse even though you're upset with them or you don't agree with something. It's not the end of the world, and this is what a relationship looks like, and this is what love is supposed to sound like. And
it becomes normal.
Yes, it becomes, well, perception is reality, is what they say. And I mean, if we're just putting out, this fake persona on social media or in our kitchen in front of our kids, people figure you out very, very quickly. And your customers and your viewers are identical to your kids, so you can't bullshit them. And they're there for the long haul. So you better put on your best foot, and you better put it on every time.
Yeah, I think for me, when the girls were younger, one of the moments that kind of stands out to me the most was Darryl and I had an argument one day, and it was something silly about like whose person we were going to use, like plumber or whatever the heck it was. Anyway, we were arguing over whose person was the best person to go with. Darryl and I are both very, very strong-headed, and early in our relationship, we didn't always know just to agree to disagree. And so sometimes our arguments got really, heated about who was the right person. And one day, one of the girls had said that they were really scared we were going to get a divorce because we were fighting. And I said to
Wow,
Darryl,
they were observing.
right? And I said, I don't ever want them to think because a couple debates or argues or fights, that just means that they're going to get a divorce, because coming from a divorced family, my parents didn't even really fight in front of us. To me, everything was, sunshine and rainbows. And so I think I always thought that couples weren't supposed to fight. And Daryl's like, no, this is normal. But I think it might be a ginger thing. So for us, we really had to explain to the girls.
Can we just have one interview? Just one interview with no ginger jokes.
No, never.
Man.
And even if the girls and I talk about it and writing our book on gingers, there's always gingers involved. But yeah, so we really had to explain to the girls that it doesn't matter if you're married or if it's your sister or your parent. There is always going to be a time that you do not agree with that person, and you are allowed to be upset and angry at them, but it doesn't mean that you love them any less. And so it took us a little bit of time to kind of explain to the girls that we were just having a debate. We're trying to figure out, whose person was the best person for the job. And after we sat down with them and kind of explained that when they fight, because of course they're children, they fight all the time and they don't love each other any less, then it kind of clued into them that doesn't mean that your parents are going to get a divorce because they're fighting, as long as we're showing them that we resolve it. Like we're hugging after, we're showing how we work through.
Bria, our oldest, she clicked in real early. She's arguing with her sister, and it kind of registered with her. Okay, she basically turned to her and said, "Listen, you're being unreasonable. We'll talk about this later." And then she left. And I'm like, "Wow, that's a great way." So just kill it.
She's a negotiator.
Right.
Yep.
So just come back when you're both kind of level-headed and you've cooled off a bit, and maybe you'll have a different civilized conversation.
And our parenting skills may not be like the correct way, but for us, it really works well because the girls have definitely learned how to deal with conflict. And if they don't like the way that something is going, they kind of know, how to step away from the situation, or, maybe negotiate with the person that they are too, learning about this book and how to get what they want.
He phrases it as bending their reality, bending your counterpart's reality, helping them through empathy to understand that their view is not what it should be.
So I think it's just helping them grow into the best, individuals that they can possibly be by seeing us work together as a couple and kind of show them that life is not perfect and it's not easy, but the important thing is trying to work through it together. And we do that a lot as a family. So it's good.
And showing them what a healthy relationship looks like. It's different emotions, as you mentioned, right?
Yep.
Like Chyanne said, it's like, I don't know if this is what healthy looks like. I said, but this is what we know and this is what works. So for us, and if it works for someone else, that'd be great.
When it comes to relationships, I mean, it's like cakes. You have chocolate cake, vanilla cake, you have apple pies. All of it tastes good at the end.
That's right. That's right.
So the relationship is really, as you mentioned, as long as you're making it work together. But the interesting thing that you mentioned about the different emotions, I mean, it would be kind of crazy to be super happy like 24/7. So you'd have to go through these different emotions as long as you don't stay in that type of space. So if you're angry with the person and you're there angry for 6 years, that's something that you need help. That's something crazy.
That's contempt. And then there's a bigger
you
need a bigger fire extinguisher for that one.
Exactly. So as long as how deep do you go in and how fast you come out of it. And I think we're all good, right? So no, that's fantastic. Anything that you love to share with the audience about you, your business, or something that could help them along the way as they're building their lives as couples and as business owners?
Oh dear, I don't know. There's so much we could share. I think one of the cool things that Darryl and I started doing during COVID actually was we really started focusing on our business mentorship. It was an easy way for us to be able to connect with people and not actually being able to physically be with them. So we started an online program where we offer mentorship, not just for photographers, but for anyone in business. And so we do,
and couples as well.
Yeah. Like, so we do these kind of brainstorm sessions, and we've done some with couples on just, you know, ideas that may help them get through whatever sticky situation they might be in, or how to achieve the goals that they're working towards. We've worked with photographers, wedding officiants, lots of different companies. And so that's one of the things that I was really excited about during our downtime that we had, was we kind of figured out another way to be able to connect with a broader range of people, even outside of our community. And so we've been doing these brainstorming sessions for free right now, just to be able to help people, because there's a lot of companies that are having a hard time just trying to think outside the box to be able to keep their businesses up and running at this time in life. And so I think that was something really exciting that we did that might be helpful for people if they want to go on. And we're going to keep the sessions free for a little bit longer, just to try to help as many people as we possibly can. I don't know what you want people.
I love it. I love it.
I guess, you know, if I was to kind of change the gears, just something about us that people could probably take is that we're not perfect. I mean, we're not psychologists, we're not therapists or counselors. We're not here to give you rock solid advice on how to fix whatever mental state that we're in. I think what the point that we're trying to tell people is that we're human beings just like you. And I mean, we found a way that works for us, and we're happy to share that with you, whether it be through a mentorship session or sorry, a mentorship session, holy smokes, or just through a Facebook message or an Instagram DM. You know, at the end of the day, our objective is to help, and for people to realize that even though you think it's your marriage or your business is too far gone, there are always ways to save that. And
there's always hope.
There's always hope. And like I had mentioned earlier, I said rock bottom is a great foundation for success. So there's no better way for you to realize what your potential is than it is through failure. And like Mark Cuban said, it's like, for every no I get in a negotiation, the closer I am to a yes.
Yes.
So,
yes. And he's a successful business person. So
yeah,
for sure, it's and I've learned, right?
Yeah, well, a few billion in the bank doesn't hurt. So
yeah, exactly. And I've had to. I know one shift that I've done for myself with coming with that statement is being the perfectionist that I am, or let's say a recovered perfectionist, is that I no longer look for perfection. I look for excellence.
Right.
And so that helped me shift from, it doesn't have to be 100%. It could be 95, and it's fine. It's still an A. It's still an A, Carla. So it's and then not taking it as a failure, but something that I've learned from, and more of an experiment. Of course, if it doesn't draw blood, I'm good. It's just an experiment. I've learned from it. I've lost, but I've learned from it, and then I move on from it and do better things. But entrepreneurship, that's exactly what it is. It's a lot of experimenting, a lot of learning, and then you keep, you count your losses and you keep the wins, and then you keep moving forward.
That's right.
And obviously, you guys are doing a fantastic job of it. If you wanted to share with the world, how can they connect with you if they're looking for support, whether it's your mentorship, whether it's, of course, just getting some couple advice, and hey, maybe collaborating with in the artistry space of maybe coming in and having an event at your location? How can they reach out to you?
Yeah, so our main hub is the Don't Be Shy brand. And so they can always find any of the information on www.don'tbechy.com. And so that houses our photography, our business mentorship, and our boutique on there. And then they can also reach out to the podcast as well for any bookings.
Yeah,
booking stuff.
I'm probably actually going to start basically having the same mentorship sessions both on the available on the podcast as it is on the photography side. Just
I love it.
just allowing people to kind of get through to us in any which way it finds is easy to them. And the website is www.wgtpodcast.com. And fairly simple, very straightforward, nothing fancy kind of website. So all of our episodes are on there, and hopefully have some more information for any mentorship sessions that we can come out and help people and do what we can. If you can change one person and one couple, that's all. That's enough for
We're not
us.
trying to change them. We're trying to help them.
Well, you know what I mean.
You guys are
We're
fantastic.
helping people.
She
you.
changed me.
No.
And that's a rarity because it's hard to change anyone. So kudos to you, Chyanna. If you can do that, I mean, really, I'm just grateful.
He was perfect the way.
I'm grateful for you guys. Thanks for stopping by on your inspired journey. You really brought some great wisdom, some beautiful, insights as to what it is to be a couple, a positive couple, making a great impact with raising great children. Thank you for that.
We appreciate the compliment. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Well, everyone, this was Your Inspired Journey with Carla Andrews. Of course, having an opportunity to hear the insides of what it is to be a couple, entrepreneur, and parents is amazing from Darryl and Chyanne. Thank you for stopping by. We'll see you soon.